Hello, hello, hello. So we are at war again. We are at war again, and we are in the middle of another constitutional crisis. Another one. How many chances do we give this president? I just want to ask y'all, how many chances do we give this president to drag us into war, to put our people in harm's way, our children in harm's way? My grandchild in harm's way. How many times do we let this president put us in harm's way? He doesn't have congressional approval. According to rumor, there have been deaths on that other side, which means he would be considered a war criminal. He has overreached his executive authority. And this is very serious. It's not defensible. It's not defensible. We're staring at one of the most serious consequential and constitutional crisis of our generation. We knew before Donald Trump was elected that he would take our country down the wrong path. We knew it. Every bad impulse that a human being has, this man has. Every bad character trait that a human being has, he has. He's petty, narcissistic, spoiled, entitled, privileged. He's all of those things, and then no, there's no apology for it. Everybody get out of my way. I'm the best. That doesn't bode well for somebody who is the leader, because they do what they want regardless of what people say. I don't understand why you people thought this person would be on your side in any way, shape, or form. The common man's side in any way, shape, or form. I don't understand why you thought that. What do you mean we are at war on February 28th? 27th, I'm sorry, Friday night. What do you mean we're at war again? And this time, Iran is fighting back, attacking other installations, attacking American places in Qatar, X, Y, and Z. I don't know. I haven't looked into it fully because I'm just so despondent because of it. And if you listen to his video, he's talking about this is what happens in war. Okay. You declared war on another country, which means you went against the Constitution, which means you need to be impeached, because they keep saying and being very careful by saying military action. No, President said war in that video. In his video, he said war. This is what happens when you go to war. Congress didn't vote. There's no authorization for use of military. No declaration of war, unless that was it. Now, Iran is declaring a whole bunch of people, including children, were killed in those strikes that you sent over there. I'm not saying they've been verified or anything else, but that's what Iran is reporting. Even if it's a fraction of it being true, that makes you a war criminal. The Constitution does not give you as the president the power to take this country into war. Our Constitution says, Article 1 says, 1 gives that power to Congress. Article 2 makes the president commander-in-chief. Yes, but the role does not erase Congress's authority, and they have the authority to authorize war. It does not eliminate checks and balances. It does not allow a unilateral regime. This is how this president has been getting around, trying to not call Congress in to ask them to go to war. He's been going around them saying it's not war, but it is war. He declared it. And when his impeachment trial comes up, You better get this video and y'all better play it, because he says this is what happens during war. Okay, fine and dandy. We gonna make sure that this gonna be played loud and high and hard all day, every day when we impeach your ass. When the president went on TV, he didn't describe any kind of defensive strike. Iran didn't do nothing. I don't know what I didn't hear nothing about what Iran was doing to us. All I heard was some bullshit about Iran is trying to get a nuclear weapon. Well, you got a nuclear weapon. We got a nuclear weapon. Why they can't get a nuclear weapon? But that's neither here nor there. That's not no reason to go to war. But you let Benjamin Netanyahu drag us into a war. That's what I believe. I believe with all my heart and soul. You let Israel drag us into a war with Iran. That's what I believe. And you let it happen because they already have shit on you in those Epstein files. Every time you do something major in this country, Bibi Netanyahu, who been done talk to you, or he done showed up and then he talks to you behind closed doors, and then your ass be doing some crazy shit. I believe they got the drop on you. They got some bad news on you. They got some videotape on your ass, and you keep doing their bidding. What he described was a massive ongoing operation. He said bombs will be dropping everywhere. He wants an Iranian military to surrender. Okay. Told the Iranian people to take over your government when everything gets done. This is not a defense. This is not nothing to do with defense. This is this is regime change. Why are we trying to change people who they president is? Why are we trying? We need to be changing our president. We need to be changing our president. Regime change is not a minor thing. That's not minor at all. The question that needs to be asked, did Congress authorize this? I doubt it. I doubt the Democrats would have signed off on that shit. Were they fully briefed that this is what you were going to do? We had a whole State of the Union address Tuesday, 4 days ago. A whole State of the Union address. Did anybody say anything about war? I ain't hear nothing about no war. I ain't hear nothing about doing no preemptive strike. I ain't hear jack. Okay. Calling on that gang of 8 or whoever the fuck they are, calling them in there and saying, hey, I want to go to war. That's not a declaration to Congress. That's not authorization. Okay. Anything beyond a short-term military action is a violation of the War Powers Resolution of 1973. That requires congressional approval for sustained military engagement. Okay, and if it goes longer than a military strike or whatever, that means you have went beyond your powers as a president. And seeing as how this is the second bite at the Iranian apple, I think you went beyond your powers. When is enough going to be enough, Republicans? When is enough going to be enough? When are you going to say, we cannot allow this president to continue to take us down this kind of path every time something suits his fancy? Every time this president talks, he's talking about something wild and crazy, something that don't even pertain to us. Numbers be off. Projections be off. Everything be off. If they verify that independently, somebody verified that civilians have been killed, children have been killed during those strikes, this is war criminal territory, because this is killing civilians in armed conflict. International humanitarian law requires distinction and proportionality. Military targets must be distinguished from civilian objectives. Civilian harm cannot be excessive in relation to military advantage. So we have to see what kind of damage has been done. And this is where we're gonna give you the skinny on it and why this person should be impeached. If the president initiated war without authorization, if he bypassed Congress, if he misrepresents the immediacy of the threat, we haven't heard that he talked to Congress. We don't know what the hell is going on. He might have talked to the eight, that famous eight, but that's not talking to Congress. He misrepresented the immediacy of the threat. He said something about they gonna get weapons of mass destruction, but that has been proven false. So even if you say they were trying to do that, we still were not in immediate danger of it. You would have to prove that. And if you're talking about regime change without legislative approval, then Congress has not only the right, but the duty. You are duty bound to consider whether that constitutes high crimes and misdemeanors. High crimes do not have to be criminal convictions. They can be an abuse of constitutional power. But that's what happened last time too. But here's where our argument is bolstered by this. The powers are supposed to be separate. Separation of powers focuses on congressional authority. Because if one president can launch regime change without a vote, then every future president can, Republican or Democrat. That is not about party. That's about structure, and the structure is about liberty. Now, politically, impeachment is unlikely unless there's a bipartisan support. Is there bipartisan support? If this president ain't pushed y'all towards this, then if this president has not pushed you Republicans closer to impeaching this president, that means you're derelicting your duty. And that's why you all deserve to lose all of your seats come November. That's why. It's more than likely if we don't get support from the Republican, if the House goes to Democrats, of course we're going to impeach them. Of course we are. Of course we are. The House must vote to impeach the president. The Senate must convict with 2/3 of the majority, which is very rare, which is 60 plus votes. So Congress must return, must debate, must veto or vote. If members believe it's justified, they should authorize the impeachment. If they don't, they should restrain it. Okay, that's how a republic works. The last time Donald Trump was supposed to get impeached, Mitch McConnell, that bitch ass motherfucker, Mitch McConnell begged the Republicans not to impeach him. There was plenty that were going to impeach him. Plenty that were going to impeach him. But he begged them not to do that. We can't survive if we do that. That's the calculation that they're going to make. Here's the calculation that's this year. Everybody can see that he should have been impeached the last time. Now, everybody sees that you all are derelicting your duty. You don't want to do your duty. You don't want to govern. You don't want to take care of the American people. You just want to talk. You just want to protect a supposed pedophile president who takes us to war. That is all that the American people are going to see in November. You love to take us to war, and he's in Epstein files, and he don't want to testify. I ain't heard him open up his mouth and say, I'm willing to come testify. I ain't heard him say that. But we digress. If the president ignores Congress entirely and continues to expand this combat, then the impeachment conversation moves from rhetoric to constitutionality, and it's a necessity. Right now, we're at the beginning of this timeline. But that president did say at that speech he had last night, this is what happens when you go to war. Okay? No president has the authority to take this nation into sustained war alone. If we allow that, we erase the balance of power that defines this country. This is the case. This is the case. And I'm saying you Republicans need to do your duty. You need to do your duty. We are in the middle of a war in Iran, and don't nobody know how we got there except this president. Do your job. Do your job.